family before we turn up the pressure for what's coming next.
Enough with the tears.
Next time.
When we come into the last few phases of the course, controlling emotion is the most important thing.
Let him down! Take the person you hate the most!
If they can't do that,
Car's coming.
they will not make it to the end.
This is going to push you further than you ever could have imagined.
Do you think I'm stupid?
No, sir. I think you do!
Fight.
Who will survive the last terrifying mission? Don't miss the Special Forces season finale next Wednesday on Fox.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
On Tuesday, President Donald Trump announced he would be freezing federal funding, including medical research and services for lower-income Mainers, such as LIHEAP. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Devin Dagnall.
And I'm Beth Jones. Today, President Trump rescinded that order. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard spoke with those who would have been affected by that decision.
It is a scary situation, and it's one of those where I didn't think it would affect me. I thought I was safe by studying the brain. I didn't think that I was in a highly targeted or controversial study.
Tiana Willett is a doctoral candidate student with the Jackson Labs. She's talking about a memorandum issued Tuesday by the White House Budget Office ordering the pause on federal grants that researchers like Willett depend on for funding and loans. The funding freeze was set to also affect a number of different assistance programs that receive federal funding, such as low-income heating assistance called LIHEAP. Around 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday, President Trump rescinded the order, allowing federal disbursements to resume. Eric Jorgensen from Maine Housing, which administers LIHEAP funding, says he is relieved at the president's about-face.
When we heard about the end of this a few minutes ago, which was really just a two-line message from the administration, we were very, very grateful for them for walking this one back. It was really a tough moment for us because we just didn't know what was going on.
According to Willett, even temporary funding freezes can have lasting consequences, especially when it comes to medical research.
Short freezes can actually have a long-term effect. The grant cycles run anywhere from 2 to 10 years. So where we have all the grants that have already been approved over those 2 to 10 years that will still continue their timeline, avoiding grants applicating now would pause anything that's going to be done for presumably another 2 to 10 years.
It was a very unsettling situation. We just didn't know what was happening. And no one could really give us definitive advice. We were getting some information from different sources. The staff of Maine's congressional delegation was wonderful. They were reaching out to us, we were reaching out to them, but it was mostly like a sharing of information rather than anything we really knew for sure.
While Jorgensen was hesitant to give advice to the Trump administration, he says he would prefer a more targeted approach on specific programs instead of a blanket ban, and wished there would be more time for organizations to prepare. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Senator Susan Collins, who is now chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee, commented on the decision of the White House Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, to rescind the temporary freeze on certain federal funding. She said, quote, "I am pleased that OMB is rescinding the memo imposing sweeping pauses in federal programs. While it is not unusual for incoming administrations to review federal programs and policies, this memo was overreaching and created unnecessary confusion and consternation." End quote.
In other news tonight, a Charleston man appeared in court after allegedly breaking into a 90-year-old woman's home and leading police on a chase afterward. Our Alex Schley has more.
Gary Roshtu is charged with multiple counts of robbery, in addition to eluding an officer and operating after revocation, after his alleged involvement in the robbery of a Corinth home Monday afternoon. The victim, a 90-year-old widow, was on the phone with her niece when just after 3:30 Monday afternoon, the doorbell rang.
So she hung up the phone call, went to the door, and there was a man standing there.
The victim asked not to be on camera, but her niece-in-law, who lives next door, agreed to speak on her behalf.
He said, I'm trying to get to Newport, I'm lost.
The victim says she began giving Rashtu directions when suddenly he pushed his way into her home and knocked her to the ground.
He wanted her to help him look around, and she's laying on the floor, and she's 90 years old. So she looks up at him and she goes, "You're gonna have to help me up." Very politely.
The victim says Rashtu collected all the valuables he could find on her bed.
She left the room, and he goes, "Where are you? Where did you go?" And she comes back with a bag in her hand, and she goes, "Well, I was getting you another bag. You're going to need another way to, there's more than you can fit there." And so meanwhile, she had been getting a bag, but she was looking out the window to try to get the plate number.
According to law enforcement, Rashtu left the victim's home just before 4 o'clock.
And then they took off, and she called 911 and gave him the plate number.
According to state police, shortly after the victim called 911, a fire marshal's investigator heard the plate over the scanner and spotted the vehicle. Rashtu failed to pull over for the fire marshal, which led to a pursuit before Rashtu crashed at the intersection at Range Road and East Dover Road in Dover-Foxcroft. Upon Rashtu's arrest, law enforcement was able to recover the victim's jewelry. Rashtu is scheduled to be back in court on February 4th. In Bangor, I'm Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
2 men charged in connection with the murder of a missing Bangor man were indicted by the Penobscot County Grand Jury. 32-year-old Kenneth Creamer of Exeter and 31-year-old Dylan Boyce, also of Exeter, have both been indicted on a charge of intentional or knowing murder. Creamer was also indicted on drug trafficking and forgery charges. Boyce was indicted on multiple counts of witness tampering as well. Both are charged with murder in connection to the death of Dylan Caruso, who had gone missing from Bangor and hadn't been seen since late September. Bangor police say Caruso's body was discovered in a wooded area in Exeter.
A coalition of healthcare groups and lawmakers from across the aisle came together today in Augusta to advocate for a bill to help protect healthcare in rural and underserved communities. The bill focuses on strengthening the 340B drug pricing program, a federal program to help with funding for safety net providers like federally qualified health centers and hospitals that support rural populations. Senator Donna Bailey, the lead sponsor of the bill, explains the loophole they are trying to fix.
But recently, the pharmaceutical industry unilaterally decided to change years of practice, and they began to prohibit hospitals and FQHCs from forming cost-saving partnerships with local pharmacies to serve their patients, greatly reducing their access to these savings.
The legislation was recently submitted to the revisor's office and has not yet been printed. However, the bill has several bipartisan co-sponsors and appears to have broad support.
Members of the State Fire Marshal's Office and public safety stakeholders met in Augusta today to highlight innovative community risk reduction efforts happening throughout the state. Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
Governor Janet Mills has officially declared this week as Community Risk Reduction Week. This aims to highlight unique ways that public safety departments are taking proactive approaches to mitigate risks within their communities.
By identifying emerging concerns and addressing issues such as fires, falls, car accidents, medical emergencies, community risk reduction helps reduce injuries, fatalities, property losses, and the costs associated with emergency response.
Community Risk Reduction Collaborative aims to bring members of various public safety agencies together to encourage more risk reduction programs throughout the state.
This collaborative is sharing our program with the other departments in the state to hopefully expand and improve overall safety throughout the state.
This includes community paramedicine programs that connect EMS with seniors to reduce hazards in their home.
We are preventing people from going to the hospital when they don't necessarily need to go to the hospital. They just need a little bit of help, and we're able to go into their home, give them that little bit of help so they don't have to call an ambulance as a last resort.
Other efforts include fall prevention programs for older adults and people with disabilities and wildfire risk assessments for homeowners in forested areas. Members of public safety say these programs are making a real impact.
We've moved more from a reactive approach to a proactive approach. And so joining with other communities and learning what they're doing, working together, coming up with ideas together is huge. So I'm excited to see where it takes us.
In Augusta, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, we have certainly been experiencing frigid temperatures for weeks now, and the ability to heat your home is a concern for many Mainers. Our Doug Banks spoke with state and local officials about how the season is affecting Mainers' ability to do just that.
There are a number of rituals that come with Maine winters. One is trucks going from place to place delivering heating fuels. Another being the conversation about how much it actually costs to heat one's home. According to Dan Burgess, director of the Governor's Energy Office, its weekly survey reports the averages for different parts of the state and fluctuates often. But since Maine relies on the delivery of heating sources from other states or overseas, the price is bound to jump. Burgess cited the pandemic and Russia's invasion in Ukraine as recent examples. He says since then, the average price of heating sources in Maine has gone down. But in recent weeks, there's been a slight uptick.
That's one of the, I think, challenges of being susceptible to these global energy markets is not just the price impacts, but really the volatility.
To combat this, some Mainers will turn to heating assistance programs. And they have. According to the Governor's Energy Office, Maine is one of the most reliant home heating oil states in the country. And Maine Housing Authority says they've seen an increase of people applying for and becoming eligible for heating assistance. It's a trend seen locally too, including at the Maine Veterans Project.
In the last few weeks, we've had an unprecedented amount of phone calls. We're walking into the office to a dozen messages and then receiving 20 or 30 phone calls on top of that.
The Holden Police Department's year-round community initiative, 25 Days of Kindness.
Usually we get like 1 or 2 requests, like December, January. Now we get like 10, 15 requests, like per month now.
And the town of Holden, whose finance director says in just the past couple of weeks, 5 to 10 people have come to them asking for help.
It is a lot for this town.
Resources for heating assistance programs can be found on this story on our website, foxbangor.com. Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, keeping our focus on the weather outside, there was plenty of snowfall all over the state today. Depending on where you were in Maine, you could have seen anywhere from 2 to 5 inches. That precipitation, mixed with wind, caused some visibility issues. We have received multiple reports of crashes across the state attributed to the slick conditions on the roadways. Luckily, it looks like things have cleared up for the most part.
I have to say the road conditions were a little deceptive. Things kind of looked clear, and I was very slowly approaching the entrance to our parking lot, gently pumping the brakes, all the things, and still kind of just slid right past the entrance, kind of came to a stop, gave it a minute, and then had to back up and turn in. That was a little unexpected.
Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue getting up the hill to leave my apartment this morning, but luckily we got here, so everything's good.
All is well. Hopefully everybody, was able to travel about safely today for the most part anyway. So let's get a first check of our forecast and see what the overnight looks like.
Thank you very much, Beth. Our first weather tonight is brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and at our newest location, 485 Main Street in Orono. We have the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, we saw some snow out there for today. Got about 2 inches here in town. We actually saw a little bit more than that, but we do see some clouds out there right now. They're going to start to decrease throughout the night, and temperatures will cool off. With that, temperatures will feel a lot colder out there with some gusty winds from the northwest right now, 13 miles per hour sustained. We'll be seeing gusts right around 20 miles per hour throughout the rest of the night. As we take a look ahead into tonight, we do see those decreasing clouds coming in right around 3 a.m. and those lows will be in the low single digits for tonight. Beth?
Alrighty, the deep freeze continues. All right, well, still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, 2 Maine companies are stepping up to help local veterans stay warm.
And the Augusta Civic Center's Paul G. Poulin Auditorium could be getting a name change. We'll have those stories and more local news when we return.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. The comfort and warmth of home means more on days like these. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage. Doing business the right way every day.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
First National Bank, Moosehead Motorsports, Tapestry Chiropractic, Barney Buick GMC Bangor, and Warren's Waterfront Restaurant.
The battle of head chefs is back as these top cooks strive to make the season finale.
Season 23 winner is
Hell's Kitchen, all new Thursdays on Fox.
Hello, I'm Emma Smith, and coming up on Good Morning Maine, we'll have local reactions to the federal funds freeze and what this could mean for different people. Plus, the latest news from local legislators as they seek to reduce the price of some prescription medications. And these stories, plus your pet of the week and your full forecast, coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Two local companies are helping veterans stay warm this winter. R.H. Foster formed a partnership with the Maine Veterans Project several years ago. This year, they matched the first 1,500 gallons of fuel that the Maine Veterans Project bought for area veterans who were struggling to make ends meet. Today, Coastal Auto Parts presented a $10,000 check to the Maine Veterans Project so they can help even more vets.
It puts somebody in a hardship. They're choosing between utility bills, food, or fuel. And we're just trying to take one of those choices off the table.
we are very proud to be from Maine, to have our business from Maine, and we feel it's important to give back to the community and help out.
Well, Doc Goodwin says the Maine Veterans Project is looking ahead, thinking they will hit 20,000 gallons of fuel donations this heating season. He says if you are a Maine veteran struggling with heating fuel and you live in the R.H. Foster coverage area, you can call MVP for assistance.
Well, for decades, the Augusta Civic Center's Paul G. Poulin Auditorium has housed thousands of Mainers for basketball tournaments, concerts, and more. However, the popular venue could soon be operating under a new name. The auditorium has long been named after a former Augusta City manager who was a key supporter in the creation of the center. If the City Council approves a more than $800,000 deal between the Augusta Civic Center and Hammond Lumber Company, it will be changed to the Hammond Lumber Company Auditorium. According to the center's director, Margaret Noel, they took a significant hit financially during the pandemic that they are still recovering from. She says they are looking to generate more revenue outside of taxpayers to keep the center thriving. However, Noel says they are still committed to preserving the history of the facility and the contributions made by Poulin.
A lot of people have an emotional tie to the building, whether they graduated here or got married here or played a high school basketball tournament here, saw their first concert here. There's a lot of emotion attached to this building, and I think preserving the history is important to the area, but also to the building, as well as the fans.
Noel says if the City Council votes to approve the deal, they plan to also rename the center's main doors as the Paul Poulin entrance. They also plan to create a historical display in the lobby that highlights Poulin's efforts and other key figures that helped make the Civic Center a reality. The council is expected to vote on this at their February 6th meeting.
Well, coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, President Trump took new action in his immigration reform crusade as he signed a powerful new law regarding illegal immigrants.
And President Trump's pick to run the Department of Health and Human Services weathered a storm of criticism during his Senate confirmation. We'll have those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
When you're ready to tackle your next building project, depend on the knowledge and experience of Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center will turn your ideas into accurate conceptual drawings, and 3D visualization is available. Your Hammond sales rep will prepare a materials list and cost estimate. And when you buy all of your materials from them, Hammond will refund all of your design fees. Hammond can deliver your order from any of their 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner since 1953.
Dragon Slayer Arcade now has 2 locations inside the Bangor Mall. Dragon Slayer has birthday party packages starting at just $50, which provides you with a designated area for you and your friends, which includes pizza and drinks. Dragon Slayer is all about birthday parties and would love for you to spend your next birthday with us. Give Dragon Slayer a call today to schedule your next birthday party. 860-462-1843.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Come stop by Triple S Tack Shop, 315 Hamden Road, Carmel, for quality clothing and equestrian gear.
Sunday on Fox. The Kings of the Lanes lay everything on the line for a major.
Tuck it! He's got it! There it is! Belmo adds to his legacy. Anthony Simonson, he's done it!
This is where names become legends and legends become champions.
He's the greatest!
The PBA, Sunday on Fox.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
President Trump took new action in his immigration reform agenda. He signed a powerful new law regarding illegal immigrants who commit crimes in this country, and he has decided where he will put some of the thousands of immigrants being deported out of the U.S. who can't be sent to their home countries. Fox's Jackie Heinrich reports.
He said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Lakin. And he hasn't. He's a man of his word.
President Trump signing his first law of his second term with the parents of 22-year-old Slane nursing student Lakin Riley looking on. The president declining to take questions during the emotional moment.
I don't think this is appropriate time, really.
After his administration rescinded a memo freezing federal funds impacted by executive orders on foreign aid, American energy, ending DEI, and immigration. It came after a federal judge temporarily blocked it from going into effect. The White House says the freeze will continue, but the injunction blocked communications between agency heads and OMB, and quote, this action should effectively end the court case and allow the government to focus on enforcing the president's orders on controlling federal spending.
We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI training contracts.
But the legal battle may continue.
That means they are still blocking investments Congress passed into law to help our communities. Investments in new clean energy jobs and a lot of other projects funded by the bipartisan infrastructure law, which Trump is stopping with his illegal executive orders.
The president keeping the focus on the Lakin Riley Act, which now mandates detention for illegal aliens accused of crimes including theft. Riley's killer was released after being arrested in New York.
This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Lakin did it.
The president today also moving to create a migrant facility at Guantanamo that can hold 30,000.
This is not the camps. You're not putting criminals in camps where ISIS and other criminals. This is a temporary transit to humanely move illegals out of our country.
The president's memo says the space at Guantanamo U.S. Naval Base should go to high-priority criminal aliens. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem described it as a site for the worst of the worst. The Cuban president criticized the decision, calling it an act of brutality in an illegally occupied territory. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
This was the first of two confirmation hearings for President Trump's pick for Health and Human Services Secretary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sat before the Senate Finance Committee and answered tough questions on Medicare and Medicaid and how he would lower high health care costs for Americans. Fox's Alexandria Hoff has more from Capitol Hill.
News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
We'll have order. This is a job where it is life and death.
Frankly, you frighten people.
Self-proclaimed disruptor Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was repeatedly disrupted by protesters and admonished by Democrats in the most tense confirmation hearing yet.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
President Trump's pick for Health and Human Services Secretary insisted that despite past statements of skepticism, he is not anti-vaccine.
The only thing I want is good science, and that's it.
If confirmed, the former independent White House contender would oversee a $1.7 trillion budget, 90,000 employees, and agencies including the FDA, CDC, NIH, and Medicare and Medicaid services. Kennedy says his Make America Healthy Again pursuit would prioritize nutrition and shift federal research away from infectious disease towards chronic illness.
The first thing I've done every morning for the past 20 years is to get on my knees and pray to God that he would put me in a position to end the chronic disease epidemic.
Today's testimony was also used by Democrats to point out Kennedy's past support for abortion, an issue that could give pause to several Republicans.
When did you decide to sell out your life's work and values to get this position?
Senator, I agree with President Trump that every abortion is a tragedy.
The 3.5-hour hearing concluded with cheers from Kennedy's supporters and a Senate divide.
I understand their concerns about vaccines. I think Bobby put those concerns to bed.
He basically served up a big plate of word salad.
So far, there have not been any Republicans who have publicly said they plan to vote against Kennedy. Tomorrow's hearing is before the Senate Help Committee. A final confirmation vote could take until mid next month. From Capitol Hill, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
A Fox News exclusive as the president's deportation efforts go on. We take you on a flight transporting illegal immigrants from Texas to Ecuador. Here's Fox's Brooke Taylor.
Fox News got exclusive access to the latest repatriation flight from El Paso to Ecuador. Dozens of illegal migrants loaded onto the C-17.
Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. Do not come to the United States and enter illegally.
Border Patrol tells us these illegal migrants were already in their custody, either caught crossing the border illegally or found in stash houses. Expedited removal flights are not new. But now President Trump is using military planes to ramp up efforts.
This is the second largest plane the Air Force has. It's going to fit 80 of these illegal migrants. Border Patrol says the message is if you come into the United States illegally, you will be sent back to your home country.
Once you're found amenable to removal under Title VIII, we can have you back in your home country within 7 hours.
Separately, ICE has been busy clearing criminal illegal migrants off the streets in major cities like Boston, Chicago, New York City, and Denver, where they arrested a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member overnight. ICE says they arrested more than 1,000 migrants on Tuesday alone. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson calling it a scare tactic.
There's a real goal here to stoke fear into the American people.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who joined ICE raids in New York City, slamming back at Democratic leaders.
That's exactly what these Democrat leaders are saying, is we want to protect the cartels. We want to protect the gangs.
And the DHS secretary announcing first on Fox and Friends earlier that today the Trump administration ended the temporary protected status for Venezuelans. In El Paso, I'm Brooke Taylor, Fox News.
President Trump's Middle East envoy traveled to Israel on Wednesday to discuss the next phase of the ceasefire deal. It comes as more hostages are expected to be released. Fox's Trey Yingst has more.
The ceasefire in Gaza is holding, and on Thursday, more hostages are expected to be released from Hamas captivity, including 3 Israelis and 5 Thai nationals. President Trump's Middle East envoy met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday to discuss the next phase of the deal, which includes the release of all remaining hostages, including some who are confirmed to be dead. It comes as thousands of Palestinians continue moving back to northern Gaza, trying to find shelter and search for relatives.
Look how we are in the streets. No one is looking out for us or seeing our conditions.
President Trump has called on Egypt and Jordan to take in displaced Palestinians. But on Wednesday, Egypt's president rejected the idea and called for a two-state solution.
It is the establishment of the two-state solution side by side, security and peace for the Israeli citizen and security and safety for the Palestinian citizen.
And Israeli officials are being asked to reverse a ban on the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees over concerns it could threaten vital aid and long-term peace in the region. It goes into effect on Thursday following Israeli claims that the group operated as a front for Hamas.
Schools were built over Hamas tunnels. Teachers were moonlighting as terrorists. This isn't humanitarian aid, it's institutionalized radicalization.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Netanyahu will meet with President Trump in Washington next Tuesday to discuss the second phase of the ceasefire. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Well, still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, Maine baseball is back in action and looking to learn from last season. We'll be right back.
Who wants to meet the cutest guy in the world? And also a baby kangaroo.
Animal Control, all new Thursdays on Fox.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
Come bowl a few games here at Bangor Brewer Bowling Lanes. We're one of the only candlepin bowling alley centers in Maine, conveniently located in the heart of Brewer. You always have the opportunity to simply bowl for fun. However, you can also join a league. We have youth leagues, adult and senior leagues. Now don't forget, we also host birthday parties for under $100, and gift certificates are also available. Give us a call right away at 989-3798 to make reservations for your birthday party today.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a fifth-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
AMHG Works, Danforth's Down Home Supermarket, Electrify Maine, First National Bank, Ideal Recycling Incorporated, and Modern Epoxy and Polishing.
I joined the Maine Army National Guard because I wanted to help the people of my community, but I never knew how far that would take me. I'm here from my hometown and I'm furthering my education. My part-time service is helping me do both. Join the team that can help you take charge of your future, just like I did with the Maine Army National Guard. Go to nationalguard.com/ME to learn more.
A judge hands down a sentence for former New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, convicted of bribery and corruption last year. Fox's Kevin Cork has the story.
How do you feel, Mr. Menendez?
Former New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez is heading to federal prison this summer. A New York judge sentencing him to 11 years behind bars for accepting bribes like gold and cash and acting as a foreign agent for Egypt.
I am innocent, and I look forward to filing appeals on a whole host of issues.
Before sentencing, Menendez tearfully pleaded for mercy, telling the judge he lost everything he cared about, except for his family. The 71-year-old saying he had done more good than bad during his 50 years in public service. But the judge wasn't convinced, telling Menendez he lost his way and stopped working for the good of the public. Back on Capitol Hill, his former colleagues weren't surprised at his fate.
Senator Menendez broke the law. He was found guilty, and the sentence certainly seems within the range of justice.
He was a colleague and a friend. His wife was very sweet, and I pray for them, but justice needs to be served.
A jury convicted Menendez in July of last year, finding him guilty of selling his influence to Egypt's government and to 3 New Jersey businessmen. Outside court, he vowed to keep fighting, calling the entire process a, quote, political witch hunt.
President Trump is right. This process is political, and it's corrupted to the core.
Mr. Menendez's wife is also facing similar charges of bribery and corruption. Her trial is expected to begin in March. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
An alarming tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas has killed 2 people. It comes as President Trump's pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services faced questions about other dangerous diseases. Fox's Connor Hansen has more from New York.
Health experts in Kansas are warning about a year-long outbreak of tuberculosis. While it's not uncommon to see a handful of cases, 2 people have died over the past year.
What is unique in this is just the sheer number of this outbreak of cases that has now been reported on, and also reported on back in August as well.
Tuberculosis, which spreads through the air, typically affects the lungs. Right now, nearly 70 people are being treated for the contagious bacterial disease. Many of them are in the same county. While they're highly concerned, health officials say they have been getting the outbreak under control.
Contact tracing and investigation hopefully prevent spread of the disease to others.
The troubling trend comes as President Trump's pick to be his top health official, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., faces questions on Capitol Hill.
My objective is to support the CDC. There's nothing I'm going to do that is going to harm CDC. I want to make sure that our science is gold standard science.
According to the CDC, the tuberculosis vaccine is not commonly used in the U.S., but is used more often on children in other countries where the disease is more prevalent. Having questioned certain vaccines in the past, RFK was pressed on his stance on vaccines to other dangerous diseases.
I am supportive of vaccines. I want good science, and I want to protect the vaccine.
But you will not. Tuberculosis is a much bigger problem outside the U.S., but it's the most deadly infectious disease worldwide. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
All right, well, coming up, we'll have our full 5-day forecast. We'll see what's heading our way.
We saw a little over 2 inches of snowfall out there for today, and we do have multiple chances for snow later on in the forecast, but one of those chances will be followed up by some rain, unfortunately. When exactly is that chance going to arrive? I'll have the answers coming right up.
Everyone has a reason to quit smoking or vaping. Maybe it's for your kids, your health, or just to prove to yourself you can. No matter your reason, quitting can be tough, but Mainers are tougher. Maine QuitLink offers free help to quit smoking and vaping. Get a personalized quit plan and free medications to control nicotine cravings. No insurance needed, no cost to Mainers. Because quitting tobacco with a little extra help is more successful than quitting cold turkey. Quit like a Mainer. Enroll online at MaineQuitLink.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
AMHG Works, LLC, American-made home goods, located at the Rennie's Plaza in Bangor. Come check us out. We're open 7 days a week, featuring artisans, crafters, and manufacturers from across the United States, where everything is meticulously designed with care and pride. We also have a wide selection of pet accessories and treats. Let us be your new favorite store. We look forward to seeing you.
It's the Furniture Gallery's anniversary sale. Celebrate with us and save big. Queen mattresses as low as $198. Want to recline? Recliners start at just $298. Or upgrade to a power recliner for just $398. Reclining sofa and recliner, just $998. The Furniture Gallery anniversary prices don't stop there. Refresh your living room. Sofas starting at just $448. Complete your bedroom, 5-piece set for only $898. Support our main family-owned business and save money. The Furniture Gallery.
Look around. You're seeing more and more Toyota trucks on the roads in eastern Maine. These folks have discovered Toyota's legendary reliability, exceptional resale value, safety sense features for your protection, and 2 years of no-cost maintenance for added peace of mind. Now you have more choices at Down East Toyota for quick delivery. Drive off in a 2025 Tundra with financing as low as 2.99% APR for up to 72 months. Come discover why Toyota truck owners keep coming back for more. All roads lead to Down East for your next truck.
Chiefs.
Everything you got, every single play.
Eagles.
Barkley, touchdown!
Super Bowl 59 is on Fox and streaming on Tubi.
Thank you very much. For highs out there today, some of that cooler air did make its way here into Bangor with our highs right around 16 degrees for today. We did see those warmer temperatures by the coastline. Bar Harbor 21, Rockland 25. Check out Sanford. They hit 37 degrees for their high today, so a lot warmer than the rest of us. And cooler temperatures did hang out up north today. Presque Isle at 9, Holton at 11. Millinocket, you guys right around 12 degrees for today, so a much cooler day up north. Going into tonight, though, we're going to be all pretty cold out there. We will see some negatives up by Clayton Lake. You guys be close to negative 10 degrees for tonight. Bangor, we're going to be closer to right around 0. We'll be most likely in those low single digits, right around 1 to 2 degrees. Deer Isle, you guys will be closer to 10, but still to the west and up a little bit north. Most of you guys will be in those negative single digits for tonight. As we go into tomorrow, mostly sunny skies across the state, just a few clouds off to the east. So we will see our highs right around 15 degrees for tomorrow. The moderate zone right around 12, but with that addition of the sunshine for tomorrow, that'll bump up our temperature a few degrees, and we'll see temperatures getting close to 20 degrees by Deer Isle. Portland showing you guys right around 20. Don't be surprised if you guys are in the mid-20s, possibly getting close to 30 for tomorrow's highs. So we see the average high right now, 28 degrees. We'll be a little bit above that going into Friday with some chances for snow making their way in early Friday morning. Saturday and the Sunday, a cooler weekend with those highs right around the low to mid-20s, but then back above average and above freezing going into the start off your work week on Monday. Those highs getting close to 30 degrees. We'll be in the upper 30s then, but that cold front will then cool us off once again. Tuesday into Wednesday will be in the upper teens to low 20s. So did see lots of snow out there this morning and afternoon that is now past us. We saw about 2.1 inches out there, and we're going to have some clearing skies out there for tonight. That's really going to cool us off with some gusty winds out there as well. So we can see right around 6:30 in the morning, just a few stray clouds out there, mostly clear skies with the winds out there. Temperatures are going to feel a lot colder than they really are, and our lows will be in the low single digits. Going into tomorrow, though, we do see rather sunny day, but then as we head into Friday, early morning hours, 4:30 to 5:30 a.m., some more snow will be making its way here into our region and up north as well. We will all be getting a good amount of snow with this system making its way in. And then there is more to come after that. Friday night, or more likely Friday evening, there'll be some more snow along the coastline. And yes, it doesn't show it here in Bangor, but it can likely reach its way up into the center portion of the state. This model is just one of the ones that don't agree with that. So here's another look at some longer term models. We can see going into Monday night, or this will be Sunday night into Monday morning, 2 a.m., we'll be seeing more snow once again, but unfortunately, the temperatures do raise going into Monday afternoon, and some of that snow can transition into rain going into Monday afternoon into evening. For lows tonight, though, we're staying dry with a few snow showers that may have happened early on, but now we're going to be dry. Lows right around 2 degrees. We will see some mostly clear skies out there for tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. Highs only right around 15 degrees, though, and those wind chills will make it feel like negative 5 degrees out there for tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at our extended forecast. We can see going into this weekend, low to mid-20s for Saturday and Sunday after a snowy day Friday. Heading into Sunday night, more snow expected, but that can transition into rain with highs in the upper 30s on Monday. Beth?
So it looks like we got to muscle through tomorrow, and there's like a little bit of relief in sight temperature-wise.
It's got to get worse before it gets better.
A scotch, if you will. All right.
Sports is next with Tyler Cruz.
My sister had multiple falls and broke her leg in the nursing home. She was out of her room and unsupervised. How did that happen?
If a serious injury has happened at a nursing home that's brought up cause for concern, call the 2s right now.
Our attorney at Lowry & Associates helped me get answers. He made sure the nursing home paid for what happened to my sister.
If you suspect nursing home abuse or neglect, we're your go-to lawyers.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage. Doing business the right way every day.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
Indiana takes on Purdue. Fox College Hoops Friday tips off at 8 Eastern.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. With all this snow on the ground, it may be hard to believe, but Maine baseball is in the full swing of their preparations for the season, gearing up for their first series of the year in just 2 weeks' time. The Black Bears are looking to bounce back after a disappointing season in 2024. Maine posted a 12-37 overall record, missing out on the America East tournament completely just 1 year after winning the conference title and making the NCAA tournament. The Black Bears say it was a humbling experience, and they're ready to prove themselves in 2025.
You know, we were at the top, and going back to the bottom kind of brought us back down to like level. So I think a lot of guys are just hungry. That's it, and everybody's working hard, doing what they need. So hopefully it'll be a lot better this year.
It was definitely a punch in the mouth, I think, a little bit. Injuries definitely did not help at all last year. But, you know, we know what we want to do. We have our goals in line, and we're ready to take steps in that direction.
Injuries were a major part of that tough year for the Black Bears, losing star pitchers Colin Fitzgerald and Caleb Lees to season-ending injuries before the first game of the year, to go along with several other key injuries sustained in season. Head coach Nick Durba says those players have learned from their time away, and he has seen it paying off in the long run.
You know, these guys learned a lot. You know, we've had injuries in the past. If you ever play sports, you can have injuries. And I think, you know, you have some players that really come back after injuries that are better than before. And those are the guys that take a seat back and, like, they actually watch the game. They get a chance to kind of remove themselves from the game from an emotional standpoint, and you can be better off for it.
All right, wishing them luck. February 14th, they hit the road. Louisiana Tech is their first opponent. Let's get on the ice and into some high school sports action. We'll head to Sawyer Arena for a rivalry match between Bangor and Hamden Academy. The Broncos putting their 7-2 run record on the line against the Class A Rams. We'll pick this one up in the first period. Hamden has it. They fire a shot on net, but Cody McHugh pushes it wide to keep it scoreless. Later on, a pile up here in front of the net is going to force the puck loose. Chase Caron scoops it up and beats the Hamden keeper on the far side to give the Rams a 1-0 lead. Later on, the Broncos now trying to equalize, but McHugh stones them yet again to keep it 1-0. Second period now, Aiden Saran makes a beautiful kick save to deflect it wide, but later on that possession sped up here. Marc-Andre Perron snipes it past the keeper, and Bangor goes on to win this one. 2-1 is the final. Back in Ellsworth now and on the hardwood, John Baptist boys paying the Eagles a visit in some Class B North action. First quarter, Crusaders up 1. Look at Ellsworth's Jackson Barry getting on the floor for the loose ball. Hollis Grindle finds Dawson Curtis. He hits Connor McDonald, who gets it to Braden King. Big bang boom, and he gets the bucket and one. Great movement right there. Eagles again working it around. Kyle Kenny gets it outside, sends it into Hollis Grindle, who floats it up and in for 2. Here come those Crusaders, though. Elmer Robichaud finds Colby Haggerty. He gets by his man, takes it baseline, and gets it up and in for the bucket. Ellsworth now. King over to Curtis. His jumper on the inside is good. This one goes to overtime, but the Eagles etch out a 47-46 win. For some other scores from around the area now, Presque Isle boys take down Bucksport. It went to overtime in Orono as well, and the home team Riots winning 56-49 over Herman. Foxcroft Academy girls beat MDI 64-51, and Skank boys, another win for them. They take down PVHS 59-22. All right, moving on now, some very sad news on Wednesday out of the Maine football community. One of the greatest players to ever don the Maine uniform has passed away, the legendary John Huard, passing peacefully on Wednesday morning, surrounded by family at the age of 80. On the football field, Huard was a hard-hitting linebacker who starred for Maine from 1963 through 1966, leaving an indelible mark on the program even 60 years later. After his playing days in Orono, the Waterville native was drafted by Denver in 1967. He played for the Broncos and the Saints before returning to Maine to coach the Black Bears and eventually lead Maine Maritime Academy, leaving his mark on athletes all over the state.
You know, John was one of our greatest players and also one of our greatest ambassadors. So we're certainly going to miss him up here at the University of Maine, and it's kind of a somber day for all of us thinking about John and his family.
He was our offensive line coach in 1974, the year I was a sophomore, and we went and won the Yankee Conference Championship that year. And I'm forever in debt to him because that O-line played their butts off, and we had a great year.
John also coached in the Canadian Football League for a few years as well. He is remembered as an amazing husband of 59 years to his wife Helen, and a caring father and grandfather, as well as a mentor to so many others. All right, certainly a man that will be missed, but his legacy will live on. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Touches of black. They stand for elegance, refinement. They make you see everything in a new light.
Lease a new 2025 Sportage LX for $249 a month.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. The comfort and warmth of home means more on days like these. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
Don't get cold feet this winter. Stay warm and dry with high-performance footwear from Comfort Shoes and More. With an extensive selection of winter boots rated from 0 to minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll find comfort in knowing your feet will be warm in any weather. Discover the latest in functional and fashionable footwear with grippers built right into the sole. With boots in stock up to 6E and size 17 for men and women. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
When Blazing Trails located in Lincoln want to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Blazing Trails is Lincoln's #1 trusted dispensary, providing outstanding product and customer service to Eastern and Central Maine.
Tell the insurance company you mean business. Call Joe Bornstein, right now.
Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years. If you've been injured in an accident, call Joe.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC 7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
AMHG Works, First National Bank, Hamlin's Marine, Stonington's Furniture, Barney Buick GMC Bangor, and Twin City Tile.
Touches of black. They stand for elegance, refinement. They make you see everything in a new light. Lease a new 2025 Sportage LX for $249 a month.
UConn to the bucket. Marquette. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox Primetime Hoops.
A musical treat for Halloween fans, and Dolly's musical gets a world premiere date. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at these stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
Hunger Games, baby. A search for love, Dolly's debut, and a horror icon on stage in the Hollywood Nation. Horror icon John Carpenter will perform his first ever music residency. The filmmaker and composer will bring John Carpenter live to the Belasco Theater in Los Angeles October 24th, 25th, Halloween night, October 31st, and November 1st. The show follows up on the expanded anniversary edition of his Lost Themes album on May 9th. $2 from each ticket will go towards an organization supporting incarcerated firefighters and the Best Friends Animal Society helping animals impacted by the LA wildfires. The Dolly Parton musical, Dolly, an Original Musical, will world premiere this summer in Nashville. A 4-week limited engagement takes place at the Fisher Center for the Performing Arts at Belmont University before it heads to Broadway in 2026. The show features a score by Parton with greatest hits and new songs. Additionally, Dolly U was announced, an immersive educational experience starting with the show, allowing students to participate in aspects of the production and project-based courses for credit. The Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films has shared Lawrence Fishburne and Hiroyuki Sanada will receive special honors at this year's 52nd Annual Saturn Awards. Fishburne will get the Lance Reddick Legacy Award. Sanada will receive the Robert Forster Artist Award. The ceremony is February 2nd.
Oh my God, oh my God.
Today's First Looks is the trailer for Season 8 of Love is Blind, with a new set of singles from Minnesota looking for love. The show returns February 14th on Netflix. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And finally tonight, a story you can really sink your teeth into. One Mexican-style fast food chain is giving away 50,000 meals as part of its Extra Sunday Super Bowl promotion. Chipotle is giving customers who watch the Super Bowl a chance to win a free entree. The company says when something extra happens, they will drop a text-to-claim code on their X and Instagram accounts. Extra events include when the team on offense converts on a 4th down, successfully kicks an extra point, or scores a 2-point conversion. Chipotle says it may decide that something else could be considered an extra event. The first fans to text 888-222 after the code drops will receive a free entree code. The chain is also offering reward members a free guac and queso blanco with the purchase of a meal using the promo code EXTRA25.
That looks kind of yummy.
I think I'm definitely going to be paying a little bit more attention this year.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Good incentive, I must say. All right, well, that is going to do it for us, folks, from everyone here at Fox 22 News. Take care and have a great rest of your night.
We'll see you later.
For more local news coverage, switch over to our sister station, ABC 7, right now for ABC 7 News at 11.
Rob McElhenney on Kimmel later tonight.
When I became president, I asked about the secrets. Aliens, Bigfoot, who killed JFK.
The president was trying to warn me. He knew something.
The biggest secret in the history of mankind is right under your nose.
What aren't you telling me?
This is ABC 7 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone, and